Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna
Hare
devotees.
Krishna Prabhuji. Pranam Prabhuji.
Pranams to you. We'll start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttamastoke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Chaitanyamishwaram Paramanandamadam Omagyanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gauravakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna devotees, thank you for joining Bhagavatam discussion. So we'll continue our discussion, Canto 2, Chapter 2, Text 27, right, today?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Correct, Prabhu.
Who is going to read?
Hare Krishna.
Mataji.
Asha.
Canto 2, Chapter 2, Text 27. Na yatra shoko na jara na mrityu na artha na cha udvegarate kutaschit yachit tata idah kripaya anidam idam duranta dukkha prabhava anudarshanat. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In that planet of Satyaloka, there is neither bereavement, nor old age, nor death.
Hare Krishna.
Nor death, there is no pain of any kind, and therefore there are no anxieties, save that sometimes, due to consciousness, there is a feeling of compassion for those unaware of the process of devotional service who are subjected to unsurpassable miseries in the material world. Purport. Foolish men of materialistic temperament do not take advantage of successive authorized knowledge. The Vedic knowledge is authorized and is acquired not by experiment but by authentic statements of the Vedic literatures explained by the bona fide authorities. Simply by becoming an academic scholar, one cannot understand the Vedic statements. One has to approach the real authority who has received the Vedic knowledge by disciplic succession. As clearly explained in the Bhagavad Gita 4.2, Lord Krishna affirmed that the system of knowledge as explained in Bhagavad Gita was explained to the sun god, and the knowledge descended by disciplic succession from the sun god to his son Manu, and from Manu to King Ikshwaku, the forefather of Lord Ramachandra, and thus the system of knowledge was explained down the line of great sages, one after another. But in due course of time, the authorized succession was broken, and therefore, just to re-establish the true spirit of the knowledge, the Lord again explained the same knowledge to Arjuna, who was a bona fide candidate for understanding due to his being a pure devotee of the Lord. Bhagavad Gita, as it was understood by Arjuna, is also explained. Bhagavad Gita 10.12.13. But there are many foolish men who do not follow in footsteps of Arjuna in understanding the spirit of Bhagavad Gita. They create instead their own interpretations, which are as foolish as they themselves, and thereby only help to put stumbling block on the path of real understanding, misdirecting the innocent followers who are less intelligent are the Shudras. It is said that one should become a Brahmana before one can understand the Vedic statements, and this stricture is as important as the stricture that no one shall become a lawyer who has not qualified himself as a graduate. Such a stricture is not an impediment in the path of progress but for anyone and everyone, but it is necessary for an unqualified understanding of a particular science. Vedic knowledge is misinterpreted by those who are not qualified Brahmanas. A qualified Brahmana is one who has undergone strict training under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. The Vedic wisdom guides us to understanding our relation with the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna and to acting accordingly in order to achieve the desired result of returning home back to Godhead. But materialistic men do not understand this. They want to make a plan to become happy in a place where there is no happiness. For false happiness, they try to reach other planet either by Vedic rituals or by spacecraft. But they should know for certain that any amount of materialistic adjustment for becoming happy in a place which is meant for distress cannot benefit the misguided man, because after all the whole universe with all its paraphernalia will come to an end after a certain period. Then all plans of materialistic happiness will automatically come to an end. The intelligent person therefore makes a plan to return home back to Godhead. Such an intelligent person surpasses all the pangs of material existence like birth, death, disease, and old age. He is actually happy because he has no anxieties of material existence, but as a compassionate, sympathizer, he feels unhappiness for the suffering materialistic men, and thus he occasionally comes before the materialistic men to teach them the necessity of going back to Godhead. All the bona fide acharyas preach this truth of returning home back to Godhead and warn men not to make a false plan for happiness in a place where happiness is only a myth. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Prabhupada ki jai. So, Sukadeva Goswami further saying that in the planet of Satyaloka, there is neither bereavement, nor old age, nor death. There is no pain of any kind. Therefore, there are no anxieties, save that sometime, due to consciousness, there is a feeling of compassion for those who are unaware of the process of devotional service, who are subject to unsurpassable miseries in the material world. So, Satyaloka, it has got kind of the majority feelings of Goloka, Vrindavana, Vaikuntha. Because in Vaikuntha also there is no time, but here Satyaloka there is a time. That may be no old age, no death, but they have to come back. It's not a permanent place, whereas Vaikuntha is a permanent place. So in that plan, so Prabhupada in the purport says that the foolish men of the material temperament do not take advantage of the successive authorized knowledge. The Vedic knowledge is authorized and is acquired not by experiment, but by authentic statements of the Vedic literature explained by a bona fide authorities. So Prabhupada quoting from 4.2, Evam parampara praptam imam rajashu viduhu sakalaneha mahata yoga nasta parantapa. The supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in the course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science appears to be lost. So Krishna is explaining to Arjuna, because Arjuna had a doubt, because we are all together, we are born together. Then how you are, knowing all those things, or when this knowledge is given? So Krishna says, yes, I gave this knowledge to King Ivaswan long back. but over a period of time, it was lost. So I'm giving it to you now. So Prabhupada says, Lord Krishna has affirmed that system of knowledge is, as explained Bhagavad Gita, was explained to sun god million years before, and knowledge descended in disciplic succession. So disciplic succession is the key point. So guru disciple kind of a succession happens, and the knowledge in that process goes. Prabhupada says here, therefore, just to re-establish a true spirit of knowledge, Lord again explained the same knowledge to Arjuna. So further, Prabhupada also quotes from 10th canto, 12th and 13th verse. 12, 13, yeah. 12, 13 is
Param
so
Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram, Param Bhavan.
yeah, continue Mataji.
Purusham Shashwatam Divyamadi Devamajam Vibhum
Ahastvam Rishyah
Ahustvam Rishaya Sarve Deva Rishihi Narada Tata Asitaha Devalaha Vyasam Swayam Cha Eva Bravishi Me.
Translation you can read.
ಅರ್ಜುನನು ಹೇಳಿದನು, ನೀನು ದೇವೋತ್ತಮ ಪರಮಪುರುಷ, ಪರಂಧಾಮ, ಪವಿತ್ರ ಪರಿಪೂರ್ಣ ಸತ್ಯ, ನೀನು ನಿತ್ಯನು, ದಿವ್ಯನು, ಆದಿಪುರುಷನು, ನಿನಗೆ ಹುಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ, ನೀನೇ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಶ್ರೇಷ್ಠನು. ನಾರದ, ಅಸಿತ, ದೇವಲ ಮತ್ತು ವ್ಯಾಸರಂತಹ ಮಹರ್ಷಿಗಳು ನಿನ್ನ ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಸತ್ಯವನ್ನು ದೃಢಪಡಿಸುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಈಗ ನೀನೇ ಇದನ್ನು ನನಗೆ ಹೇಳುತ್ತಿದ್ದೀಯೆ. ಪ್ರಭುಜಿ, ಐ ಕೆಪ್ಟ್ ಕನ್ನಡ ಭಗವದ್ಗೀತಾ, ಸಾರಿ. And I was not knowing that I am unmuted and I started reading it. Sorry.
Okay, Mataji.
So,
ಮಾತಾಜಿ, ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾರಿ ಅಂತದಿದೆ, ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ರೀಚ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋರಿಗೆ. ತುಂಬಾ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.
those not from Kannada better learn Kannada, right?
No, more than that, I kept unmuted and then I started reading to myself. That's why I said
Okay.
sorry.
ಏನು ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ತುಂಬಾ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.
Yeah. So Lord is saying, and the Arjuna is saying this. Arjuna is saying, you are the Supreme Person. You are Param Brahma. Your Dhamma is Paradhamma. And is Pavitram Param Bhavan. So he is saying, you are Pavitra. You are, Param. And Purusham Shashwatam. You are Shashwata Purusha. You are Divyam, Adi Devam, Ajam. You have no born, no birth. You are Vibhu. And further says, this is not I am saying. Devala, Asita, Narada, all these great personalities said, I am also saying same. So Prabhupada is quoting this. And also in the 13th verse, next verse, he says, okay, somebody want Ashamata just read the next sloka also. 13th things anyway.
Prabhuji,
Okay, sorry.
together, Prabhuji, 12 and 13 together.
Sorry, yeah, I agree. Sorry, so that's how it says. So Prabhupada is saying that one has to take the full step of Arjuna to understand the spirit of Bhagavad Gita. So even in the Srila Bhagavad Gita, the preface itself, Srila Prabhupada says, if one has to understand Bhagavad Gita, we have to understand the mood of Arjuna, or at least take the mood of Arjuna, footstep of the Arjuna, then only we can understand Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, not possible. Now, what is the mood of Arjuna? Arjuna maybe sorry. Initially, he has put so many questions. Yeah, in the whole chapter 1, he has put so many questions. He was not willing to fight. He had said that, why I should fight? So many sins will incur, and how will I enjoy? And the Varna Shankar will happen. All this reason he gives. But after that, when he understood that, the whole world is kind of a problem, Arjuna said, Karpanya dosha upahata svabhava rachami tvabhamma samudhya chetah yasya nishchitam bhruvi tanme shishyateham shadimam tvam prapanna. Arjuna says, I am now confused about my duty and I have lost all my composure because of miserly weakness. in this condition, I'm asking you to tell me for a certain what is the best for me. Now I am your disciple and the soul surrendered to you. Please instruct me. This is the mood we should adopt. We should adopt at least in front of our guru. Well, definitely, then only we can understand Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna, and sorry, Arjuna accepts Krishna as a spiritual master, and he says, "I'm fool. I'm confused. I don't know my duty, my dharma. Please instruct me. I am your disciple. Karpanya dosha upahata swabhava." He says, and now I'm asking you for a certain what is best for me, because I don't know what is best for me. So that's how a disciple should go in front of the spiritual master. So Srila Prabhupada many places says that a disciple should behave like a fool in front of spiritual master. Because any disciple think that I am better than the spiritual master, he is fool number one. Because maybe many, externally, in material terms, spiritual master may not be highly educated, possible, whereas a disciple could be highly educated. There is many examples, like Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, Srila Prabhupada's guru. He was a great scholar. He has, studied so many things, and Sanskrit or logic or, by hearting intelligence, everything was there. Whereas his father, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, told that Vimala Prasad, who is Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur later, Vimal Prasad told that you take initiation with Gaurakrishna Das Babaji Maharaj. Whereas the material perspective, Gaurakrishna Das Babaji Maharaj not studied anything. Many times he said that he is not able to read also. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur told Vimal Prasad, you should go and take initiation from him. So Vimal Prasad comes to Gaurakrishna Das Babaji Maharaj. Sorry. Gaurakrishna Babaji Maharaj says, what is this? How can I take you as my disciple? I'm illiterate. I'm Nirakshara Kukshi. I don't know anything. You are a great scholar. How can you be my disciple? Not possible. Go back, he says. So Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, Vimala Prasad says, no, if you don't initiate me, my life has no meaning. My father has told me that you should accept me as my spiritual master. And after a lot of persuading, just to avoid Vimala Prasad, Gaurakrishna Babaji Maharaj says that, okay, I'll ask Gauranga Mahaprabhu. If you agreed, I'll give you. Go back. So he wanted to send him back. So Vimala Prasad comes back, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur asked, what happened? He says, no. Gaurakrishna Babaji Maharaj refused. Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, your life is useless. What is the use of your life? Such a pure devotee like the Gaurakrishna Babaji Maharaj, if you cannot, he will not accept you, what's the use of your life? So Vimala Prasad comes back. This time he comes and asks Gaurakrishna Babaji Maharaj, Babaji Maharaj, did you ask Gauranga? You know what Babaji Maharaj says? Sorry, I forgot. So you wanted to avoid him. So then Vimala Prasad says, Babaji Maharaj, if you don't give me initiation, my life has no meaning. I'm committing suicide. And he started walking towards Ganga to jump into the water. So that's the time Gaurakrishna Babaji says, calls him back, please come back. Then he gives initiation. The point is that we should be like in front of, in spiritual master. Swataha Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says that my spiritual master, Ishwarapuri, told me that I am fool. I can't understand Vedas. I can't read. So simply chant the holy name. Because in the streets of Varanasi and other places, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu simply chanting the holy name and walking. So other great, the so-called sages, they were telling, you are young, you are, highly educated Pandit. You should be studying Shastra. Why are you chanting and dancing on the street? Then Gauranga Mahaprabhu says that my spiritual master told me that you are murkha, you are fool. So that's why I'm doing this. Now again, that doesn't mean that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was murkha. It is for me, the common people like us, because we are not able to understand. That's why in the Kali Yuga, Mahaprabhu says simply chant the holy name. So Prabhupada says is that one should become a Brahmana before one can understand Vedic statement. Again, what is Brahmana? Brahmana not by birth, Brahmana by practice. One should become Brahmana means one should acquire the qualities of Brahmana. What is Yajana, Patana, like studying Shastra, teaching others, deity worship, and being an advisor to the king or other ruling classes, and you know teach all the society the scriptural knowledge. That is a Brahman, and he should behave like a Brahman, not just act like a Brahman. So that's why Prabhupada says that then only you can understand Vedic statements. Prabhupada further says that a qualified Brahmana is one who has undergone strict training under the guidance of bona fide spiritual master. So Brahmana by practice, and nowadays, like ISKCON, we have a Brahmanical initiation, like those who are taken Harinama initiation. After a few years, they follow the required norms. Guru can give a Brahmanical initiation. I mean, officially, Guru can certify or give a Brahmanical thread and tell him that you can chant the Gayatri Mantra. So the point is that one should become Brahmana by practice, not by birth. So further, Prabhupada says that Supreme Lord Krishna and acting accordingly in order to achieve the desired result of returning back home, back to Godhead. So this is the desired result. The desire of every jiva should be going back home, back to Godhead. Especially the human being. Of course, animals, birds, we can't expect them to perform devotional service. But human being, one who has taken the human body, should go back home, back to Godhead. We should develop that quality and always think, how can I go back home, back to Godhead? And Prabhupada says, whole universe with its paraphernalia and will come to end after the certain period. So otherwise, the misguided, the distressed, they cannot understand this. So otherwise, because whole material world and its paraphernalia going to end. There is no way we can save that. So then plans of materialistic happiness will automatically come to end. People maybe make so many plans. Nowadays, people are making plans to go to moon or some other planet, thinking that one day we'll go and make a site, make a big building there, enjoy. But that is not intelligence. We read in the previous verses, to go to those planets, the spacecraft not required. Where devotion service. We gave example of Narada Muni, example of uh, this Durvasa Muni. All these great personalities we gave example, but that is a real intelligence. Sumedha. So intelligent person therefore makes a plan to return home back to Godhead. Such intelligent person surpasses all the pangs of material existence. What are the material existence? Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. The old age, birth, death, and disease. These are the basic fundamental four problems. And other three problems, Adi Bhautika, Adi Devika, and Adi Atmika. The problem created by the nature, Adi Devika, Adi Bhautika, other jivas, Adi Atmika, my own problems, my own mind and body. So all these problems will create a more anxiety. Material world is full of anxiety. But where a spiritual world, Vaikunta, no anxiety. No kunta, that's called Vaikunta. So all these bona fide acharyas preach this truth, returning back to Godhead, and warn men not to make a false plan for happiness in the place where happiness is only myth. This material world where happiness is only myth, dukkhalayam ashashvatam. There's no way we can have happiness. So we do not make a plan to be happy here. We have to plan to go back home, back to God. You can read one more sloka. Yeah. Who's going to read? Hare Krishna.
Shall I continue, bro?
Yeah, please.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Prabhupada ki jai. Tato vishesham pratipyadya nirbhayas tenat manapurna lamurti atvaram Jyotirmaya vayu upayeta kale vaya atmanakham brihad atmalingam. Translation and translation of Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. After reaching Satyaloka, the devotee is especially able to be incorporated fearlessly by the subtle body in an identity similar to that of the gross body. And one after another, he gradually attains stages of existence from earthly to watery, fiery, glowing, and airy until he reaches the eternal stage. Purport. Anyone who can reach Brahma Loka or Satya Loka by the dint of spiritual perfection and practice is qualified to attain three different types of perfection. One who has attained a specific planet by dint of pious activities attains places in terms of his comparative pious activities. One who has attained the place by dint of his Virat or Hiranyagarbha worship is liberated along with the liberation of Brahma. But one who attains the place by dint of devotional service, especially mentioned here in relation to how he can penetrate into the different coverings of the universe and thus ultimately disclose his spiritual identity in the absolute atmosphere of supreme existence. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, all the universes are clustered together up and down, and each and every one of them is separately sevenfold covered. The watery portion is beyond the sevenfold coverings, and each covering is 10 times more expansive than the previous coverings. The personality of Godhead, who creates all such universes by his breathing period, lies above the cluster of the universes. The water of the
Origin.
casual ocean is differently situated than the covering water of the universe. The water that serves as covering for the universe is material, whereas the water of the casual ocean is spiritual. Such as the watery covering mentioned herein is considered. You can have the next page.
Yeah.
Is considered to be the false egoistic covering of all living entities. And the gradual process of liberation from the material coverings, one after another, as mentioned herein, is the gradual process of being liberated from false egoistic conception of the material gross body, and then being absorbed in the identification of the subtle body till the attainment of the pure spiritual body in the absolute realm of kingdom of God. Srila Sridhara Swami confirms that a part of the material nature after being initiated by the Lord is known as the Mahatattva. A fractional portion of the Mahatattva is called the false ego. A portion of the ego is the vibration of sound, and the portion of sound is atmospheric air. A portion of the airy atmosphere is turned into forms, and the forms constitute the power of electricity or heat. Heat produces the smell of the aroma of the earth, and the gross earth is produced by such aroma. And all these combined together constitute the cosmic phenomenon. The extent of the cosmic phenomenon is calculated by the diametrically, both ways, 4 billion miles. Then the coverings of the universe begin. The first stratum of the covering is calculated to extend 80 million miles, and the subsequent covering of the universe are respectively of fire, effulgence, air, and ether, one after another, each extending 10 times farther than the previous one. The fearless devotee of the Lord penetrates each one of them, and ultimately reaches the absolute atmosphere where everything is one and the same spiritual identity. Then the devotee enters one of the Vaikuntha planets where he assumes exactly the same form as the Lord and engages in the loving transcendental service of the Lord. That is the highest perfection of the devotional life. Beyond this, beyond this, there is nothing to be desired or achieved by the perfect yogi. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
So, Sukadeva goes on further saying that so after reaching Satyaloka, devotee is specifically able to incorporate fearlessly by subtle body in the identity similar to that of gross body. one after another, he gradually attains the stages existence from earthly to the watery, fiery, and glowing and airy until he reaches the ether stage. So in the purport, Prabhupada explains the different processes and how one goes to one level Brahmaloka or Satyaloka to the up to the Vaikuntha Loka. So here, more importantly, the first talks about the Jiva Goswami saying that the universe are clustered together with up and down. Each and every one of them is separately seven-folded cover. We can understand how the seven-folded cover, and each cover is 10 times bigger than the previous one. Like that's how the cover. Now the Jiva has to cross all those things, and the water of the causal ocean is definitely differently situated than the covering water of the universe. So if you can imagine, there are sevenfold covers, coverings, and each one is 10 times bigger than the previous one. So like earth, water, fire, ether, like that, there are different levels, and each one is 10 times bigger. So Prabhupada, quoting from Sridhar Swami, confirms that the part of material nature, after being initiated by the Lord, so the Pradhan, the Mahatattva, agitated by the glance of the Lord Sadashiva, the creation happens. So there also, out of the Panchabhutas and working senses and Jnanendriyas, and all this together, and finally the mind, intelligence, false ego is together 24 items gets created the material world, so becomes Mahatattva, gets kind of false ego is a part of that. So that's how the whole creation happens. Finally, Prabhupada says that the devotee enters into the Vaikuntha planets where he assumes exactly the same form of the Lord. So when Vaikuntha, every jiva gets the Lord Vishnu's form. It looks all same, but this one, what is that? Kaustubha in the chest is only for Vishnu, nobody else. So there are other services each one of them do after reaching there. Whereas the point here is that reaching there is not so easy. They have to cross all these different planets and different coverings, then only we can reach there. Here, I'll stop here. Devotees can share their comments and questions. Anything. Okay. Asha Mata, do you want to start?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Nothing I said. Thank you for the class, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Well, sir, Mayappan Prabhu. Mayappan Prabhu. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Today's texts seem to be highly technical, and as far as 27 concerned, Satyaloka is again a temporary planet for the materialistic souls, and King Viswan, knowledge, the disciple success is broken to restart, to re-establish the succession. Supreme Lord has taken the initiative again to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. One must understand the mood of Arjuna and adopt the same mood of realization as fool in front of spiritual master. One must again acquire the qualities of Brahmana by strict practices, and also undergo strict practice and under the supervision of spiritual master. Materialistic worlds will definitely come to an end after certain period. So it's all acharyas unitedly agree that one must aspire to reach the Goloka Vrindavana or Vaikuntha, back home, back to Godhead is the right decision. In all texts, they have again and again confirmed, and Srimad Bhagavatam also is confirming again and again. And only thing, as a practicing devotee, I must take all these advices and try to get rid of this materialistic world. Once for all, I must surrender to Supreme Lord and aspire for going back home, back to Godhead. That much I am sure, Prabhuji. And as far as text 28 concerned, I think I again and again I must read again and to understand the contents in a better way. That much I understood, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Reena Das Mataji, anything on say?
Hare Krishna,
Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna Prabhuji. Today, in the chapter, one first thing that I've learned is Arjuna has been the pure devotee of Lord Sri Krishna, and just to re-establish the true spirit and understand Bhagavata, we should follow the footsteps of Arjuna. One should become a Brahmana before one understands the Vedic statement. And in order to achieve the desired result of returning back to the Godhead, we should follow the steps of what Srila Prabhupada ji said. In the planet of Satya Yoga, there is neither bereavement or nor old age or not death. There is no pain of any kind, and there is no anxiety. The knowledge has been transferred through different succession process, and the Vedic knowledge by the discipline of succession. Lord Sri Krishna re-explained the process of the knowledge, which was explained to the Lord Surya, which seemed to have lost, and Arjuna saying that you are the Param Brahma. Prabhupada says that one has to take the footprints of Arjuna to understand Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna has asked so many questions to Sri Krishna, and also Arjuna has asked Bhagwan why he should he should fight the battle. And after he surrendered, says that maybe as a fool or is confused and guide, and that's where when he surrendered to Sri Krishna, he was able to understand better. And similarly, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, by simply chanting the holy name, the spiritual master said that if I'm his spiritual master said that I'm a fool, and hence by chanting the Maha Mantra, he said that I can acquire the qualities, and that is how has been my learning today.
Thank you, Mataji. Saurabh Prabhu.
Everything has been covered. So, then I think from discuss that my takeaway is that we all are the Arjunas in our personal life, our professional life. So we have to go through the teachings and the scientific knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, and not only to read or to understand, but we have to apply and execute the teachings and the science of Krishna in each way of our part of life. So that I'm understood. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sudhavati Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Krishna.
So in text 27, you have explained about Satyaloka and Vaikunta. In Satyaloka, there is no anxiety, no old age, and but Vaikunta is the ultimate, because there if one goes to Vaikunta, they will not come back. And Arjuna, one should be like Arjuna, because he is a very like how a student and a teacher relation, we can, if a student listens and obeys a teacher, he will be the best student. Like that, I think Krishna has chosen Arjuna, because though Arjuna earlier he had doubts whether to fight or not, because all the people who were present in the battlefield were his very dear ones, his guru and his grandfather and all, and relatives and all. So he was reluctant earlier. When I read, even I thought, okay, probably if we were in Arjuna's place, we might also think the same way. There's nothing wrong, I thought. But then when we relate now at present, then if suppose if a soldier, if at all, if India has to go for a war with an enemy, then if he comes back saying that there are some relatives and he was not willing to fight back, how it would be very odd. So I thought that way, Krishna, he explained to Arjuna his dharma, like being kshatriya, how he should behave and what is his dharma. He explained very well. And Arjuna, he being a very good student, I can rather say, obediently, and he also reasoned and thought what he was doing was wrong, and he followed Krishna footsteps, and that's how he could win the war, because he followed dharma. And you have also explained about Brahman. A Brahmin will become like not by birth, but he should practice, he should learn and also teach people, and then we can say him or her as a Brahman, that you have explained. And we always have to think to go back to Godhead. So all intelligent people will make a plan to reach back to Godhead. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. We'll stop here. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya कृपासिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय अनंतरा श्रीमद्भागवतम की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय. See you tomorrow same time. Please invite others also, those who are not coming. Please personally message and call them, please.
Hare Krishna.